listening to Who's Tom and Dick, a weekly podcast with your hosts, Martin Weavers, fighting stage 4 lung cancer, and Patrick Mortimer, living with heart disease. Why not grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy the chatter as we discuss and share information, talking about tough subjects, and offering help, support, and motivation with a positive mental attitude.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Who's Tom and Dick, and good morning to you, Martin.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning to you, Patrick.
It's not a somber podcast, is it? It's just how would you put it?
Yeah, a little blip. I went for my scan, and a week later I went to see Dr. Patterson. And after last year, when I went in there really confident, and he knocked me for 6 saying I got a lymph node, struck a little bit of cancer in it. I never go into these consultations with Dr. Patterson feeling overconfident now, because that time I really was. I felt really well, on top of the world, and then he hit me for 6 with that.
Yeah.
So the next time I went and he hit me with the news that it had cleared up. So yeah. I still went with a positive mental attitude, and I thought to myself, that's good. So carried on taking all the tablets. And then I had more immunotherapy last week. I went in and Dr. Patterson sat me down and we started talking, and then I said, come on then, hit me with the news. What's happening inside? And he said, well, I'm afraid a little bit's grown back again. So this is now the 3rd time. It does knock you for 6, but as I said, I was expecting it a little bit. Linny normally bursts into tears. She didn't. She was half expecting it as well, because I had been breathless a little bit. And I can't walk many yards without, having to want to rest and things like that nowadays. Mm-hmm. I had in my mind I was going to go back to football.
Right.
But, yeah, I think I can kiss that goodbye now. So, but it's a shame, but my life has changed, as you know. So, yeah, that was the bad news. He told me I'd got a 2 centimetre growth of cancer.
2 centimetres?
2 centimetres, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's treatable.
Did he say where this one was? Yeah,
he said it was attached just to the outer bit of the lung where the old cancer used to be. And he gave me an analogy of this thing of that different sort of people in a town stay around the town and then some move out. He said, but some people often stay in a town. And he said, this is what's happened with your cancer. All the rest has moved out. He said, but there's one that stayed in there, and it sometimes stays hidden. And this one was, because this was the last thing that he expected to be growing there, really. Yeah. And he said, this is the horrible thing about cancer. He said, it catches you unaware. And he said, this one has certainly caught us unaware. We didn't expect it to grow from there.
So how does he tell you then? I mean, when you go in to see him, he's obviously sitting there with a bit of bad news. Do you get an inkling? He sort of starts the meeting the same every time?
Yeah, starts the meeting the same every time. This time, funny enough, I had a medical doctor in with me.
Right.
And he said, do you mind if she sits in? And I said, no, all these doctors have got to learn somehow. And he'd obviously briefed her with my case. And she sat and listened to everything. But no, he starts off the same way. He's never, hello, like this, all happy, and he's never, hello, how are you? It's always the same. He's very professional. Yeah, you can't read his mood, and he's obviously, he's treating me, and he's treated it, and he's treated it and got rid of it. Yeah. So to him, it must be not a failure, but it must be disappointing for him as well.
Yeah,
because it's sensationally disappointing for me. But when you're treating someone and you're getting there, and you think, oh God, I got rid of all that cancer around the outside of the lung, and now this lymph node grew, got rid of that, brilliant. So I've come to the conclusion now that the rest of my life will probably be, I'll get a little bit of cancer, hopefully they'll clear it, get a bit, have another bit. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this one gets cleared up, because it's sensational what they're going to do for me, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it was one of those things where I did expect it, but I didn't expect it, if you know what I mean. But there's lots of plan A, Bs and Cs.
Well, your immunotherapy didn't really go according to plan, did it? Because you had a lot of interruptions along the way, with
Mm.
colds and various things, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I should have had about four by the time I went in to see Dr. P, but in the end I'd only had three because I'd had a cold. That was one thing that stopped me having it. And the other thing that stopped me having it was that when I got that cracked heel and it started to bleed and I was worried about an infection, which is brilliant because they're on the ball,
Yeah,
because if I'd have had it and got an infection, I might have ended up in hospital.
yeah,
So, but no, they're on the ball, and so I said to Dr. Patterson, "What's the plan?" Because obviously they've always got a plan,
yeah,
and he said, "There's three plans. There's A, B, and C." He said, "I don't think Plan A will come off." He said, "But I would like it to." He said, "So Plan C is more chemotherapy."
yeah.
Which, as we know, I go in every 3 weeks, or did go in for every 3 weeks and have that blasted into me. The next plan was radiotherapy,
Hmm.
which I've never had. So I was intrigued to find out what he was going to say about that. And plan A was this brand new drug, but it's
Hmm.
not readily available on the NHS. He said, but I don't know if we're going to be lucky enough to get on a trial for that.
Yeah,
So he said, let's talk about plan B. So we spoke about the radiotherapy,
yeah,
and basically what I have to do for the radiotherapy is go to Cambridge.
yeah.
So it's to go to Adam Brooks, and they would do a consultation with me. They would find exactly where this cancer is, and they would mark my chest with like a tattoo.
Yeah.
And then the tattoo would be the point where in the next 5 days, I would go there and they would blast me with this radiation exactly where these 2 points are on my body. So it was, well thought out.
Hmm.
And we left and we were both quite happy,
Yeah.
to go through the radiation. And I sat there and I was looking at TV. My phone went, and I thought, I'll have a look, see who that is. And it was Dr. Patterson. I thought, wow, what's happened? And he told me that he was able to get me on this treatment at the Royal Marsden in Chelsea,
Right.
which was a drug which has been developed there, and a guy called Professor Sanjay Patat, who, I tell you what, he's got nearly every single letter after the alphabet after his name. He's a Bachelor of Science, an MBBS, an FRCP, and he's also got a PhD as well. So he's a very, 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 and I'll say very, very clever person.
Yeah.
So, but he's a specialist in lung cancer, and he's internationally recognised as the expert in the treatment of it all. And he qualified with a triple distinction, not just
Right.
a distinction, a triple distinction, and that's when he got awarded his PhD in molecular genetics.
Crikey.
So, there's not just anybody here I'm going to see, and also he's treated King Charles.
Yeah.
Yes, the man on our throne at the moment, and the next man on the throne, his wife Kate Middleton. He's treated her as well.
Really.
So that now makes me third in line to the throne, I think.
So you're in the circles of royalty then now.
Yeah, an esteemed company, as they always say. But it's just it's the not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm completely oblivious to what's going to happen. I remember when I started the lorlatinib, which this new tablet is a sister tablet to lorlatinib.
Right.
So it's not exactly the same because I can't go back on the same tablet. No cancer treatment can be repeated on somebody. So it had to be a slightly different one.
Yeah.
And this was the one that Dr. Patterson said, well, I don't think we're going to get on it. But then, as I say, out of the blue, I got this text and boom, I'm heading now to the Royal Marsden in Chelsea. So,
Brilliant.
but the tablets, I don't know what's different about it. I'd love to know, which I'll find out on when I go there for my consultation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's obviously a hybrid of what you were on last time. They've obviously developed it and brought it on further, I would have thought.
Yeah, because when I remember the day I started the other one, they said to me, would I like to do this tablet that's not sort of readily available, but the NHS have passed it as a tablet that they were going to use. So not many people were using it, and I was only the second person to try this tablet.
Hmm.
And I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I remember the day it came round, and the doctor who gave it to me, he just jokingly he said, "Don't lose that tablet. It's really expensive." And I looked it up, and they were £75 a tablet.
Right.
So I don't know how much these new ones are, but once I get the name, you can rest assured I shall be looking up the the value and the price of it. It's a bit similar, really. I started it in hospital
Yeah.
the last time, not knowing, and then suddenly it just all the cancer around my lung dissolved, as Dr. Patterson said.
Hmm.
So let's hope this brand new one, it's got to. I read about another tablet that's like Lornatinib, which I
Yeah.
don't know if it's the same one, but it just seems to get into the cancer and stops the cancer growing.
Yeah. He referred to it to you, didn't he, as a compassionate referral or something like that?
Yeah, I don't really know what compassionate referral means.
No.
I should have looked that up really.
That's maybe
Uh,
a question you can ask, and we can discuss that in another podcast. But
yeah, because it seems not like a favour or a last resort,
no.
nothing like that. Lenny did look up the word compassionate. I know that, but I
Yeah.
can't remember what the meaning meant now. It was a funny statement, really.
How did you react when you got the news from Dr. P? You've had this news a couple of times now, so did you react differently this time?
I was pretty calm, really. I mean, I know that I had tears in my eyes the last time I had the news, because you don't think it's like the old black cat where you're going to get hung and die,
Yeah.
because you think there's someone there. He's sitting opposite me, trying to help me with the drugs, and he's got a team behind him in the hospital as well who consultate every sort of Friday and talk about different cases. So
Mhm.
I must admit I did send him a text just to let him know. And today, funny enough, that I'll be going up for this treatment, because I don't know whether they not notify whether people are going for treatment or not. Once I've had treatment, I would imagine he would get the thing through medical notes and things like
Yeah.
that. But whether they get appointments given to them, I don't know. But I thanked him and said I'll be going on this coming Monday.
Yeah. So I suppose when you have because you'll be on that for probably 3 months, and then you'll have a scan or something, won't you? Like you
Yeah.
have all the other drugs. I suppose you'll still go back to Dr. P for the consultations.
I think so. I hope I haven't got to go to Chelsea every time.
Well, yeah, you probably go back to Dr. P, and then he'll consult with the consultant, won't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because obviously it's a trial,
Yeah.
and the people who are giving me this trial will want to know what's happening, won't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
I shouldn't think I'll be expected to go to Chelsea every sort of time, but until I get the consultation with Professor Patat, I won't really know what's happening really. And because everything seems to be up in the air, and it's just nice that it's happened so quickly.
When you're referred to the Royal Marsden Hospital, do you know how important that hospital was?
I don't. I know it's pretty important because the Royals go there,
Yeah.
but as in the past, I don't really know. Do you know then?
Well, I only know that it's renowned for all its treatments, and that's why the Royals go there, because it's the best of the best, I guess.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, Linny looked it up, and I remember her saying it's known as the best place for treatment for cancer
Yeah.
in the country. So, if they can't do nothing for me, I won't say that's it, because there's loads of other alternatives, because we spoke about the radiotherapy,
Yeah.
which Dr. P seems to think, because the difference this time is I couldn't have radiotherapy when I had it all round the outer lining of my lung,
Yeah.
because it was too much of a big area to do. But now it's just one little area. He
Hmm.
said that the radiotherapy can focus on that, and he said it can, well, burn it out, I suppose.
Yeah. Does
So
this mean your loyalties have changed now? You're now a Chelsea supporter.
I said to someone the other day, I said, that's the only time I reckon I'll actually want to go to Chelsea. But no, it doesn't. My allegiance is still with the Arsenal.
I was thinking of the tattoo you've got to have when they blast it with a laser or the radiation. Perhaps you could have a Liverpool badge put on there. Make
Or
it
who's
feel.
Tom and Dick? No,
Uh,
I'd imagine it's just going to be a little circle like the target.
Yeah. Has the recent news then that you've had affected your outlook on life or your sort of daily routines, or you still now you've got a sunk in, you're getting on with it like you always do? Are you just living the same as you were before?
Yeah, I carry on my life the same
Yeah.
as before. My head tells me I want to do things, but my body tells me I can't, which
Yeah.
that gets very frustrating. But I think it's best to do, the normal things. I still do the washing up. I still do the washing, which I never think's hard, just sticking it in the machine and
Yeah.
pegging it out. But no, I like to carry on and do all the normal things that I was doing before during this cancer treatment,
Yeah.
not before my cancer, because I can't do all those things anymore. As I mentioned earlier about the football, I hanker this little dream that one day I'll get on the line, but I just even a referee's warm up, I know I couldn't do that now.
Hmm.
So let alone sprinting up the touchline after some young 24-year-old centre forward. And I'm 65 with cancer in my lung.
I don't think you've ever sprinted up the centre line, have you?
Well, in my time I've sprinted.
You do the walking football, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
They
Yeah.
need a ref, probably.
Yeah.
You get quite violent at times, I hear.
Oh God, yeah.
This is sort of like a life of knocks, isn't it? You get up and you're knocked over again. You get up, you're knocked over again. How,
Yeah.
how would you suggest that somebody keeps coming back?
Well, I'm that person who hopefully keeps coming back.
I know, but
I
a lot of people must are not like you, are they?
No, no. It would be hard to instill into someone keep going, but a lot of people, because I keep people posted on my Facebook page
Hmm.
what's happening, and lots of them say, "Oh, you're an inspiration." And do you know what, Pat? I never think I'm an inspiration. There's someone put, "Oh, you're my hero," and blah blah blah. And I thought, I ain't nobody's hero. I'm just carrying on with an illness that I'm determined to try and. Well, I know that cancer will always get somebody in the end, but I want to live on this planet as long as I can for all my family and my wife, and my children, my friends. So there is I'm a determined old bugger, really.
Yeah. Well, as our
You know?
dear friend Jimmy Tarbuck said, he's going to die with cancer, not die of cancer. So,
Yes, it's true. Yeah, because the more and more things they keep bringing out, like 3.5 years ago when I first had this cancer, they didn't have lorlatinib,
no.
and then suddenly they've got lorlatinib, and then suddenly the next thing is they've got a sister tablet to it. So what's to say that they'd probably be right this second now researching another tablet to it,
Hmm.
because lorlatinib treats certain amounts of cancer,
Yeah.
not every single one. And obviously, this new one will treat ones that the lorlatinib wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So this is the good. This is why when we did the Race for Life and for the cancer research, all the money goes to research to find out these tablets,
Yeah.
because without it, our lives would be a lot shorter.
Yeah.
That's fact. I mean, when I first looked it up, which we tell everybody not to on Google, I thought I'd got 6 months.
Yeah. You've not had private healthcare or anything like that. You've gone solely and had to go solely with the NHS from start right till to present day. How do you think your experience with the NHS has been?
I can't fault it. When I read these people that complain about the NHS, I know my treatment's slightly different when these people have to get admitted to wards and they can't get in because they have to wait in corridors and things like that. Whereas I don't have to, although I have been admitted several times into hospital, which Dr. Patterson mentioned to that doctor. He said Martin was a frequent visitor to G1
Yeah.
not in 2023 it was, when, well, yourself because you used to come in and see me, and I had the long spell in there. So my treatment is mainly appointments to see Dr. Patterson or phone calls where they call me. So I don't have this wait to get into wards really. So I can't comment on that kind of treatment from the NHS. All I can do is talk on the treatment I've had, and the treatment I've had has been brilliant. And there's never been long to wait neither. I
No.
remember the first day that, he said, oh, you got type 4 lung cancer, stage 4 lung cancer. And within a fortnight, I was being consulted.
Yeah.
And then within a week or two, I was having the fluid drained.
Right.
And then everything has always happened within a couple of weeks. So, and like this one, it's just happened so quick that he said that, great news. He's Professor Patat is going to take you on
Yeah.
because it's part of the NHS. He has private clients,
Yeah.
but he also does NHS.
Right.
So this is where I've got in on the NHS.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know what's been said between Dr. Patterson and Professor Patat. Perhaps it was, he responded quite well on the lorlatinib and dissolved it. And so how about trying him on this new tablet?
Yeah.
So Dr. Patterson's obviously had to put a word in for me because Professor Patat doesn't know me. He doesn't know my case study. So there must have been a word put in somewhere, and it might be light at the end of the tunnel that I can hopefully, get through. I'll get through it, but it might clear it up, and it'll be a success.
Yeah. You weren't responding. Well, you were responding quite well to the immunotherapy, but your body was presenting you with all sorts of side effects, wasn't it?
Mm.
So hopefully, this treatment will be better. And when you were on lorlatinib, and I said that quite clearly,
Lorlatinib,
you didn't have many side effects, did you?
I didn't, no. And that's why when I went in 3/4 of the year for the CT scan, that I felt really, really good.
Yeah.
And then he hit me and said, "Oh, there's been a lymph node grow," because I never had any symptoms whatsoever. I was feeling good. I think I'll still probably feel lightheaded and muggy-headed, but that's for all the tablets I have. And my body is not kept responding brilliant to all the steroids and all that. That's having an adverse effect on how I look. But I'll have all these tablets to keep me going, and also this new lorlatinib. It'll be interesting to know what it's actually called as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be called
I think when we
lorlatinib
did
2.
our talk about drugs, all the cancer drugs had a similar sort of phrase in it somewhere, didn't they?
Yeah, it's the IB.
The
I bet it'll end in IB, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. You're going up the night before to make a day of it or a couple of days of it, aren't you?
Yeah, we said, it's a long way to go for us from Dis. So instead of just going up and it being a memory for having to go to hospital, we thought we'd make a memory of it for perhaps going to a show or going to the Shard, because
Yeah.
there's a lift. My daughter just been to the Shard, and she said there's a lift to the top because there's no way I could climb all those stairs to the top. It's funny when I climb stairs because I find difficulty climbing them, but it's not so bad coming down.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I suppose it's gravity, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
But no, we don't know what we're going to do because we won't. We'll probably get there about 1:15. Our train pulls into Liverpool Street, then we get the tube. We're at Hyde Park, so
Yeah.
we're quite good to all the tubes and the buses and whatever to go wherever we want.
Yeah.
So I dare say we'll go to Covent Garden
Yeah.
first because there's a half price ticket booth there,
Yeah.
and also it's quite nice at Covent Garden. I haven't been for a while, and then and just see what's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're determined to do that because on the 1st of July will be my appointment, and that'll be get up, have breakfast, and really get across to Chelsea
Hmm.
to where it is, and find the hospital, and probably have a cup of tea there before we go in, and then 3 o'clock is my appointment. So I could have had a slightly earlier one, but I thought no, I'll go slightly later to make sure we can get there. And so 3 o'clock's my appointment, and then we can go from there. And I dare say we'll get back and see what we're going to do. Probably go for a meal.
Yeah. Are you going from this on the train, are you?
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no changing, which is quite good.
Right.
So I
Excellent.
think we get on at about 11:49, and we get there at 1:15.
Yeah. That's not bad.
So it's a fair old trek. My son-in-law said he'd come and pick me up and take me to the station.
I guess that's a steam train from this.
No, we have got to electric now. It came in last year.
All right. Okay. So, you've no idea how long this meeting's going to take.
No, I
Are they
mean,
going to do any? I don't suppose they'll bother and do any blood tests or anything because they'll
I
have.
wondered that, funny enough, if they do a blood test.
Well, I guess they'll leave that all to Dr. P.
The last blood test I had was just before I had the CT scan, so it's not going to be up to date, is it?
No,
But I did wonder if I'd get there and have a blood test, and I mean, I dare say they'd do me on my arm.
yeah,
So, which is another thing I've been doing as well. I've had to do that because I'm on blood pressure tablets now. So I've had a week of that.
and how's your blood pressure?
It's come down. It's come down a heck of a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but it's various numbers, which I don't know what they all mean. But the doctor, I'm going to hand it in this afternoon. Funny enough,
yeah.
and then they can get back to me and let me know. I suppose they're going to monitor how the tablet is doing.
Do you just take one blood pressure test, or do you take two or three?
I only take one.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think you know the name of it, didn't you?
Ramipril.
Yeah, something like that.
Are you on Ramipril then?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's the one that can give you the slight cough.
Yeah, that's the one I stopped taking.
I've been really lucky. They said
Yeah.
that the dose I'm on shouldn't make me cough, and it hasn't made me cough, which is good.
Right.
So I know years ago when I was on it, it did make me cough.
I was on it for 12 years and that was making me cough. And I didn't realise until my brother said one day, he said, I had to give up that Ramipril. He said, that just can't make me cough.
Yeah.
Well, I keep coughing. Well, I asked the doctor to swap them over. And I still cough, obviously, but not like I did on the Ramipril.
No, that's the one I'm on. Yeah, I just stopped myself years ago, and well, I drastically lost weight. I went down to 12.5 stone.
Mhm.
So, which I know I can't do now.
That's a good update on your health. And we wish you all the best with the Royal Marsden. And we'll catch up with you straight after you've been there, I guess.
Yeah, there'll be more news on what's happening, which we can talk about. But I've got a question to ask you now,
Yes.
because you had an accident the other day, didn't you? I'm going to tell the listeners. He's actually knocked some sense into himself. He's pointing to his head here, everybody. He walked into a wooden soffit, didn't you?
Yeah, that was blooming painful, I tell you.
Is the soffit all right, though?
Yeah, soffit's fine.
No.
Yeah, I put a graze across my head.
Good job you had a hat on.
Yeah, just above my right eye, right in the corner, I hit the soffit. I was looking where I was going, but I turned the corner too quick and just caught my head on it. Bang!
Yeah.
Went down on the floor for a few minutes and saw stars. And I thought, right, that's enough for today. So I just went and sat down. I was on my own as well.
Was you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Wendy was away, wasn't she? Yeah, that's right.
So, but I think I'm all right. I think I might have had a bit of concussion because I was a bit dizzy for a couple of days afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, I had sort of, if I turn my head from left to right, that's almost as if my eyes stayed where I was looking and my head moved.
You know the best thing for that, don't you?
What's that?
Don't turn your head left to right.
Thanks for that one, Martin. But yes, I'm okay. Thank you very much.
He gives me all the sympathy in the world with my cancer, and I don't give him any.
Talking of jokes.
Yes, I've actually got a joke of the week, believe it or not. I know it's not been the happiest of podcasts, but I thought I will have a joke of the week because everybody expects it now.
Yeah, well, let's have one of Martin's. Please don't turn off at this point, guys. Let's have one of Martin's joke of the week.
So a man was in a bar one night and he saw a beautiful lady sitting in the booth opposite him. After about 5 minutes, he got up to talk to her because he was a bit shy at first. He didn't know what to do. Just as he sat down, she sneezed and her glass eye flew out of the socket. On reflex, the guy shot out his arm and caught the eye and gave it back to her. They started talking. Then they went back to her place for a nightcap. In the morning, she cooked him a big breakfast of bacon, eggs, and the man said, "Why are you being incredibly nice to me?" He says, "This is the way you treat all men who start talking to you." And the lady replied, "No, you just happen to catch my eye."
I could feel that one boiling.
Simmering.
I could feel that one coming. Yeah,
that's right. So, what we got on the podcast next week? We've got a pop star next week, haven't we?
We've got, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we've got Philip Wright. Might not mean much to anybody, but when you start whistling, which we can't really record.
No, but when you
Really
go,
don't be a hero.
And the night
He was-
Chicago died, he did that one as well.
He was the lead singer with Paper Lace.
He was, and he was also the drummer.
The drummer as well.
What a multi-talented person he is, and he's still going strong to this day.
Multitasking.
Yeah, he's got a very, very interesting story to tell.
And then we're going to be talking to a guy called Stephen Reed, who had a cardiac arrest and started an amazing charity in his town of the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
So that one will be coming up soon as well.
When we talked to him about, I love the Isle of Wight. I nearly went last year when I was on holiday, when we was in Brighton, but it was just a little bit too far to go, and I was going to leave Betsy the night and then go over to the Isle of Wight, stay the night in a hotel, and then come back. But if we'd have been a little bit nearer to Portsmouth, we would have done that, definitely.
You said to me you didn't think you'd go abroad again. Anyway, thanks for updating everybody today.
Yeah, and thanks for listening, everybody, as well.
And we hope your meeting all goes well. And we look forward to recapping and coming back and you telling us all about it. And hopefully this new wonder drug will do as good as the last one.
Yeah, I mean, we won't get the results until it's 2 months, actually, when I get the results from this. So from when I start taking it, I don't know if they're going to give me the tablets there and then. Or I get it from Berry, but I should learn more on Monday anyway. So we'll keep everybody informed in the next sort of couple of weeks.
Brilliant stuff. All right, mate.
Thanks very much, Pat.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next week on Who's Tom
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Who's Tom and Dick podcast with your hosts, Martin Weavers and Patrick Mortimer. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite streaming platform. New episodes are available every Friday. Thanks for tuning in.